This took a while, but I'm finally to give my review here. But before we begin to talk about that, and pardon that random sounds in the background, I have to say something before we go to the summary of this chapter. And that is, am I the only one that noticed that there was something a bit off about this chapter? And no, I'm not talking about Nakama power that people complain about. No, I'm not talking about powers that happens that fast. And no, I am not talking about fast pacing. Screw that. Everything in this chapter I liked. So I liked all of that stuff. People can complain about that there are many shonen that blab about, oh, let's defy destiny and blah, and people can always complain about Nakama power and blah, but that, hell, I like that. I like those things. Why? Because you can never fight fate in real life. At least I don't feel that way. Only those with willpower can fight fate, but we are already doomed. So that's what I believe. So that's why I like mangas that defy fate like that. And also Nakama power, because after all, in real life, who is the enemy and who's the friend? Usually we need a miraculous power in order to give us hope in the darkest times. But now I have wasted half of this. Actually, this was not what I was going to talk about. So I am talking, of course, about Black Clover chapter 99, if you still are watching this. What I am talking about is a few of the panels of this chapter actually made me worried. Because the art looked strangely... I don't know if it was because how this chapter was translated or if this was intentional. However, there were a few panels in this chapter that surprisingly did not look finished. They looked almost like Hitaus X Hiatus when things are bad. And I hate Hitaus X Hiatus. It's one of those mangas I will never acknowledge. One of the best mangas out there, but I will never acknowledge it. Mostly because I know it will never ever be finished. So yeah, I'm just saying there were some panels here that did not look finished. And that has actually made me a bit worried. But hey, wait up before you criticize me too much. Listen, I know I'm no an artist, I'm a poet. That's the only artist I have. I cannot draw, so I don't know the pressure of drawing. Still, when manga artists show this, are we to be concerned or is it intentional? Okay, we have wasted 3 minutes about this chapter, so let's go on the summary. The queen is controlling Asta to kill Noelle, and also, here's also something we should talk about, which is pretty interesting. The queen seems to be a bit of a fatalist, someone who believes in fate and this is the cruelty of fate, but it's obvious though the fate she believes in is the fate she thinks she can control herself. So given the ending of this chapter, it is about time this old hag is getting a wake-up call. But that's not what she said was so interesting. No, she said something about it's only fitting that a member of the Clover Kingdom's royal family will fall to that person's blade. Is this once again hinting that Noelle's family, what were their name again? Silver? Or was it something else? If you all remember, Vet talked about you're a member of that fallen family. There has been some rumors to say that could it be that the first Sorcerer Emperor may have been from Noelle's family clan? Or is it possible that the royal family of Silver Clan or whatever they name were actually have a dark mark on history? I mean, it's not surprising a single bit if they do. I mean, that family is full of haughty, arrogant, and extremely obnoxious people, so it's no surprise if they've done something controversial in life. However, Noelle is an exception. Although haughty, prideful, and a little bit arrogant, she has gone through character development. Asta is fighting the control a little bit. As Vanessas screams to the queen to please let him go, I'll do anything you do. But the queen just says with cold eyes that this has to happen because so they don't do any stupid ideas. Because apparently the reason why the queen hasn't chased Vanessa ever since she escaped from the kingdom is simply because she has foreseen destiny. She can somehow talk to the forest or the fortunes, whatever, and seem to Apparently, she saw in the future that will summon a thing that will control the one thing she would want will come back. Although she did not know that that thing would be a human that with an anti-magic blade. And we all should know that sometimes fate is not always so clear. It's usually giving a hint what we are to expect, but it's usually not exactly how it sounds. And it is revealed that the queen is somehow Vanessa's mother. And I'm saying somehow not because of how could someone even tap that hag. No, I'm not saying that. I'm more saying like, hasn't this queen lived for centuries? Or was that just a lie? I mean, the Diamond Kingdom thought she has lived for a very long time. And let's say, for argument's sake, she has lived a long time. After all, she does seem to have a very deep knowledge about histories that no one else have. So if she has lived a long time, then how the heck did she get a daughter? I mean, everybody can get a daughter, but I have a feeling that maybe Vanessa wasn't created naturally. Maybe she was, created somehow like that. And some mother she was. Ever since Vanessa was an adorable little girl, she was locked in a bird cage. I mean, big bird cage, but it was still a bird cage. All so that she could practice her thread magic, and that's the reason why Vanessa hasn't done any other magic. According to the queen, she strongly believed, or apparently the fates spoke that Vanessa would one day control the threads of destiny, which is something Vanessa have talked about. And she did this because Vanessa was her daughter, therefore her property. As she grew into a young teenager, I have no idea how old Vanessa is, but it's clear that as a young child, she looked extremely adorable. As a teenager, well, she had legs, let's just say that. Until that fated encounter, although that fated encounter was actually more of a crash in hello. As we all know, Jami was the one who pulled her out of this forest. And how did he do that? Well, while he was still a little bit young and did not have the beard, Jami was sent flying by the queen. When he was apparently in the forest training. I don't know. I didn't really believe Jami is a guy who's interested in ladies, so I don't know how he ended up here. But then again, he seems to be a little bit of a guy like, hey, I just want to do that. So he apparently clashed with the witch hag, and well, he was sent flying right in the cage and opened it. So as he saw Vanessa, he asked, "What are you doing here?" And she says, "I was locked here by the queen. It's the queen's order." So Jamia said, "Well, that's gonna suck. You have a hole right there. Let's go." So apparently Vanessa says, "That is my destiny." And then Jami says something I'll really like to hear, because this is just the kind of character Jami is. He says, "So Mr. Destiny or Fate told you this? Well, I hate that bastard's guts. How about we tear him apart and then let him not do as he pleases?" I mean, Jami certainly looks like that guy that says like, "Screw Destiny." But more over the fact that he doesn't want to listen to Destiny. More over the fact like, how do you put this in words? More of the fact that I want to do what I want to do. I'm not gonna tell anyone else me to do. I mean, he's a bit of a rogue. So Vanessa says, "Then what should I do?" "Don't ask me. Figure it out for yourself." So Vanessa fled, joined the Black Bull, and it's clear though, as she was in that place, that she was a little bit more modest in her clothing when she was with the Black Bull. But the years became very kind to her as she grew into from an adorable little girl to an enormous sexy lady. And also we see some other guy or person, I think, or if it is that a wig, in the background. And no, I'm not talking about grey. We see something that looks like long hair in one of the Vanessa's backgrounds. I'm actually beginning to wonder, is that a new person we have yet to meet? And also Finral flirted Vanessa as soon as she got there. So for Vanessa, the Black Bull is her family, as she proudly says that the Black Bull is my family, you are not my family. She begs her magic to save her family, because she doesn't want them to die before her eyes. So she says, "Please magic, oh power of mine, if my magic really were meant to change destiny or fate, Please change it right now. And so, with her willpower, a new spell is written in the magic as a new thread magic that is the color of red and creates a cat wraps around her. The queen gets surprised, although we do not exactly know if that's surprising of delight or surprising like, oh, don't tell me. But it's just as the fortune foretold. Vanessa would get the red strings of fate magic. So yeah, people can complain that there's Nakama power and blah 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 blah, but hey, I like that development. If there's People can always complain that Black Clover is cliché and has many elements that are not so original. But if there's one thing that makes up for all of that, it's the character development. And I like that about Black Clover. Many characters go through enormously amount of character development, and this arc has been one for Vanessa. At least finally one for Vanessa. Her true magic has unleashed all red strings of fate. It's not exactly known what that cat is though, although that cat was created by her red thread magic, so who knows. But yeah, sorry about this very long video. I've spent half of it talking about other stuff, but yeah, I just couldn't ignore to the fact that why was some art a little bit off. But we're just one chapter away from 100 chapters, so give me your thoughts if you have any.